the way that my friends were going. We were slowly becoming involved in a culture of kids who were had access to drugs because they were wealthier, had access to drugs, had parents who were very lenient with them, who said, let my kid experiment with this and that, it's okay. So I think it was just the natural way they were going. I don't know for sure, but I don't believe that my accident was the main reason why they became involved in drugs. Yeah. I'm sorry? Oh, she had a question, okay. I'm sorry? Yes, does my parents live here? Yes. It's a funny thing. My mother still lives in New York because my mother is one of these people who's addicted to New York. She could never leave New York if she tried. She gets panic attacks when she's in other places. I tried to bring her out to Oregon one time, and she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to take the subway or that she wouldn't be able to go to her normal coffee place. In New York you take cabs everywhere. My mother takes cabs everywhere. She was afraid if she got out here she wouldn't be able to hop into a cab and go somewhere. And my mother also has this idea that Oregon is all country and cows, and that I might live on a farm or something, and it's very difficult to get her to see it otherwise. I've told her, I've said, Mom, I live in the projects, I live in a, but she is one of these people who is a New Yorker, true and true, and she would get out here and she would not be happy. And she would be a pain in my butt if she was happy. So I say, hey, you stay in New York, I'll come visit you. My sister came out to visit me one time. It was a nightmare. For that very reason, she couldn't go where she wanted to go. She felt trapped in Portland. And so I just realized these are New Yorkers. Let them stay in New York. I'll come see them. But
we have about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Yes.
Do you have any other dreams or hopes for the future?
Do I have any other jobs? Oh boy, do I have a ton of dreams and hopes for my future. I've always been a big fan of films, and I feel like people with disabilities never really get represented in films very well. Like, I feel like lately it's gotten better, but that people who I know with disabilities, people I know in wheelchairs, we don't really see ourselves represented very much in film. So I would love to make films in the future. And I've taken several film classes. I even shot a short film in Eugene. I would love to start making films and have characters with disabilities be the lead characters in those films. I would also like to write more books. I'm working on a novel right now that's fiction. That's really where my true heart lies. I mean, even though I wrote this memoir, I love writing fiction. That's one of my favorite things. One of the favorite things I love to read. So I'd love to do that. I'd like to get back into working with young people again. I don't teach right now. I was laid off from school in Eugene where I taught, so I'm actually not teaching in a school right now. But I really do enjoy being around like high school, middle school age. I enjoy being a part of the educational experience. So I'd like to do that again someday. And like I said, also my main thing, I'm working on this book about people with disabilities from all over the world. I want to finish that book. I think that book is like a 3 or 4 year project because it takes a long time to travel. Going to Kenya took me 36 hours to get there, 36 hours to get back. So it's not going to happen quickly. But I would like to do more things that involve showing people with disabilities in a positive light and in a realistic light, not just as heroes or people that you should pity in the street, but as just real people. That's what I would like to do. Anyone I didn't get? New York happened. Hey, New York.
What is your sister's name?
My sister's name is Zani. Zani was originally Yazan, but she changed it to Zani. Just like my name was originally Jerome, and I talk about it in the book, but at some point I changed my name to Jerry because I go through this whole thing in the book where I talk about how I didn't really feel like I was that Jerome anymore, like maybe like what you were asking me. I felt like I wasn't Jerome. Like Jerome was a kid who played basketball, who played baseball, who played football, who was trying out for school plays. And at some point early in my life, I thought, I'm not Jerome anymore. So I changed my name to Jerry, just because I wanted to kind of have a symbolic changing of who I was. But my sister's name is Zani. If you're in New York and you meet her, she's a difficult personality, but tell her I said hi. Tell her to give me a call sometime. We don't talk on the phone too often because we get into arguments. Yes.
Do you think that you weren't never shot, that your life would be better now?
So do I think if I wasn't shot, would my life be better than it was now? And that's another one of those what if questions. You and this young lady should hang out some. That's another one of those what if questions I'll never really know. What I can tell you though is this: the only answer I have is that I am very happy with my life the way it is now. I couldn't imagine it being any better. I mean, if I was like Kobe Bryant or LeBron James or something, I'm sure I'd be happy still. But I'm extremely, extremely happy with the life I lead now. I've got a ton of friends. I get to do things like this every now and then, which bring me great joy. I love writing. I'm taking a painting class. I'm enjoying that. Like, I don't know what my life would have been like if I wasn't shot, but I can tell you that I'm extremely happy now, so it's not even really, I don't put a lot of thought into what life would have been like because I feel very fulfilled now.
Do you think it would be effective to have your story like in a documentary? Like, do you think that it would help people, or do you think it would be important to have?
It's an interesting question if my life would be good in documentary. I've known a lot of people who have actually taken an interest in maybe doing a documentary about me or something. But I'll be honest with you, I don't think my life is that extraordinary. I believe that there are 1,000 people who have led, at least 1,000, who have led more interesting lives than I have, who are more worthy of a documentary than myself. I think that my story is basically one of like hundreds of thousands of kids in the city. Something bad happened to them. They went on and did positive things with it. But I don't really feel other people do, and that always fascinates me. But I think that my life is not really documentary worthy. I think that my story is a small story. It's why it amazes me that people like Honey find my story and that a publisher wanted to publish my story. Because as much as I think that my life is interesting, I think that there are so many other people who have greater stories to tell than I, who I meet often. But if someone wants to do one, I'll be more than happy to sit in front of a camera and talk about it. I enjoy it. And in fact, later today, I've been asked to be a part of a documentary on Newtown, the Newtown shooting. PBS is doing a documentary on that, and they want to talk to other people who have been gunshot victims. So I'll be doing that.